All right. Good morning, Poppa-D riders. I want to thank you for turning back into my channel and following along. Guys, if you're new here, my name is Tim Marshburn. The channel is Poppa-D Rides, and it's all about long-distance motorcycle touring and all things motorcycle related. So today, guys, I'm headed down to Gaffney, South Carolina to take a picture of myself and the bike and the HOG membership book cover at the Peachoid. And that'll allow me to get my state coin for South Carolina. The HOG has this 50 rides, 50 nation challenge. And if you're a HOG member, if you go to a specific location in each state, take a picture of yourself and the bike with a cover of the membership handbook and submit that. You can do it electronically, actually, to HOG. At the end of every quarter, they'll send you a challenge coin for that state. So I started doing this on my trip up to the mountains of North Carolina a week or so ago. My friend Stacy Walker, her and her husband Terry, were doing this along the way and got me involved with it. So I've got North Carolina and Tennessee already. I'll get South Carolina today. I also submitted photos because this challenge has been going on for a couple of years, and I had photos when I was in the Badlands, photos when I was out near Monument Valley. So I'm getting also approved South Dakota and Utah. They wouldn't accept my picture of the one for Montana, which is up on the Beartooth Pass, or it might be Wyoming. One of those two states is on the Beartooth Pass at the summit. And the reason why is because I didn't really stop there and take a picture of the summit sign, but I had it in a video, and I took a still photo from that video. You can see the sign, but you really couldn't clearly read it. And I didn't have the book, obviously, in that photo, so they rejected that submission. So anyways, I'm going to get South Carolina today, and that's where I'm headed. I've been planning on doing that for a little while. But it gives me an opportunity while I'm riding today to talk to you guys about a few things. So when we were up in the mountains of North Carolina, we talked about maybe riding to Key West. Big Mike, who's a law enforcement officer down in Gainesville, Florida, said, he would try to put something together. Well, Big Mike has come through, man. He has set up the dates, found us some hotels, that kind of thing, and the route. He and I have been talking about the route a little bit, but primarily Big Mike's done all of this stuff with very little input from me, other than me asking him questions and making a few suggestions here and there. But that trip is on. So we're going to Key West, guys. If you want to go with us, you're welcome. Wood Jr. has already put out a video on his channel, so I'm just following up to what Wood Jr. put out. But that trip will be in September, and the dates are the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th of September. Now, don't let that scare you off. The 15th is for guys like me who live away from Savannah, Georgia, so we can get to Savannah, Georgia. So I'll leave here on the 15th, and I've got a hotel booked in Savannah for that night, so I can go down and be ready to pull out of Savannah at 5 o'clock in the morning on the 16th. So the 15th is for folks to get within driving range of Savannah, so we can meet at Savannah Harley-Davidson on the morning of Friday, September 16th, which is my mother's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. Either way, we're going to meet there on that morning at 5 a.m., and we're going to pull out at 5 a.m. So kickstands up at 5 a.m. We're going to pull out from Savannah Harley-Davidson and head to Florida. Our plan is to meet Big Mike in Gainesville, and I'll put a link to those directions in the description below. But we're going to meet Mike at a particular gas station in Gainesville, and then he's going to take the ride over and lead us down to Key West. So from Savannah to Gainesville, we're going to be kicking the highway, Interstate 95, and then Highway 301 to get us over to Gainesville. And from Gainesville, we'll stay on 301 until we can go down far enough to intersect with Highway 27. Take 27 down, and we'll wind up on Highway 29, which will take us down through the bottom of Florida, out through the National Reserve area and into the Everglades, and then we'll take Highway 41, which is also Highway 90, across to Homestead. And we're staying in Homestead. The main hotel is the Floridian Hotel, and then there's the Inn of Florida, which is actually right next door as an Overflow. Those are fairly small hotels, so reserve your room early. And then Mike set up a Overflow hotel at the Days Inn in Florida City, which is about 2 miles away. But that way everybody can get there on the 16th. We have some time of fellowship, that kind of thing. And then the morning of the 17th, we're going to have kickstands up at either 5 or 6 o'clock a.m. and we're going to ride to Key West mile marker 0 and take our picture at the buoy. And hopefully we'll get there early enough, maybe we get the bikes down in there and take those pictures. So that's the plan, guys. September 15th through September 18th, we're headed to Key West, and I'm so looking forward to it. I got the clearance from my wife. I had promised her that when I went to the mountains back in last month, that would be it for the year. I wouldn't do anything else, and then this popped up, man, and I really enjoyed these guys' fellowship. I had a good time with them, obviously up in the mountains of North Carolina. So to be able to go with them to Key West, and I've never ridden to Key West. I've been there in a car. We went down there for one of our anniversaries and stayed in Key Largo for a week and rode down to Key West for the day. But I've never ridden a motorcycle on the overseas highway, and I'm looking forward to that. And looking forward to getting you guys some great content as we do it. So that's the plan. I'm going to go down here and get this picture, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about group riding here in just a moment. All right, guys, let's enjoy the ride. All right, guys, I've made it down to the Peachoid, which is right in front of me. Go down here and find me a spot to take a picture, and then we'll head back toward the house. Having a great day. Looks like they're doing some construction up here and got basically the road down to 1 lane right at the Peachoid. So hopefully I can get to where I need to get to take a picture. Let's see, it is only 83 degrees out here, but it feels hotter. All righty. I'll pull in here to the Fats Cafe and take my picture. There it is. All right, guys, we made it over here to the Peachoid. Got my picture with this cover, and it's just the cover. I don't have the book. So I can get my South Carolina challenge coin from HOG. But my next deal to do today, and I probably won't necessarily video it, but I wanted to get the Easy Pass transponder for my bike, so if I decide to do the 4810, I'd have it. This is the thing they sent me. It's made to go on the bumper of a car. It's too big to mount anywhere on the motorcycle. So I'm going to go over to the North Carolina Easy Pass office, actually, in Charlotte, and ask them if this is what I needed. It's what I ordered offline. It said I needed this kind of transponder if I had a motorcycle, but I don't know where to mount it on the bike. And I'm afraid if I've seen people put it in their saddlebag or maybe up here in the tour pack. With the smaller one, the actual Easy Pass from up north. But I don't know about this one. So I will go find out if there's something else that I should have for the motorcycle. And if it is, if I can change it out. But that's another thing on my agenda for today. Anyhow, let's get back to the ride and let's discuss group riding. All right, guys. I stopped here at one of the last exits in South Carolina to get some gas before we're headed back into North Carolina. But I wanted to talk to you guys on the way home about group riding. I started this video earlier. Okay, he's getting his map set out. All right, looks like he's good. Let me get back to it. I wanted to start this video earlier, but my 360 froze up. So if it freezes up again, I'm just gonna keep talking about it. Anyhow, with our upcoming ride to Key West, I wanted to talk about something. If you guys watched my series of our ride to the mountains of North Carolina with Wood Jr. and our subscribers, I failed in that ride. And what I mean by that is there's an old saying that says, if you fail the plan, you plan to fail. And I failed to plan for the number of bikes we had, and I failed to plan for daily briefings about our ride. So I want to talk about that a little bit. When I was a paramedic and I was a paramedic supervisor, I used to tell a lot of our younger medics that, you know, when you respond to a call, once you arrive, you are in charge of that scene. You are in charge of things that happen, and when things happen, it's on you. And there are going to be other medical responders there that know what you need to do, but because you're in charge, they're not going to step up and take over what you're doing. Let me pull over and put my gloves on before I lose them. Hate to stop right here, but I forgot to put my gloves on, so I'm going to pull right here where these guys are working the construction, and I'm going to put my gloves on, and then I'm going to head on up. All right, so let me get my gloves on, and then we'll head on down the road. I'm glad I realized that. I knew something felt funny. I didn't have my gloves on. Anyhow, this guy's backing up, so I got to get out of his way. Probably wasn't the best place for me to go. I'm going to go around him real quick, man. All right. All right. Oh, that thing froze up again. Golly, that aggravates me. Why? Why, oh, why did it freeze up? I don't know what's going on with my 360. It froze up again. But I had to stop and put my gloves on. So let me get back to what I was talking about. I failed to plan. And what I used to tell my medics were that they were in charge of the call. And there were people on the scene that knew what they needed to do but wouldn't take over because they were in charge. There were oftentimes people on the scene that were higher in medical education than a paramedic. Oftentimes you have physicians on the scene, you have PAs on the scene, nurses on the scene that have more education than paramedics do, but they're not necessarily going to take over, especially if they're a member of the first responder group, and that's what I was talking about specifically. So I told them, you need to always formulate a plan and then communicate your plan to everybody so they're aware of what that plan is. And these are the things I failed to do on this group ride. So I want to talk about that. If you are the leader of a group, plan the ride out, plan the stops as best you can, and communicate that. And I thought I'd done that well, but we didn't do that every day. The other thing I didn't do was I didn't plan for the number of bikes. And my suggestion to you is once you get over about 10 bikes, if you get up to 20 bikes, you probably need to break that group up into 2 smaller groups. I have ridden thousands of miles in a group setting between 10 and sometimes as many as 30 bikes. But I was always in the group. I was never leading the group. And those guys did a phenomenal job of getting me across country. I rode from LA to Banff, Canada in a group that we started out with 15, 20 bikes, wound up with 30 by the time we got to where we were going over the course of several days. And it was a great experience. I wasn't in charge, I was riding. So communicate that. Make sure that you have a sweeper, somebody designated to bring up the rear end to keep the group together, to make sure everybody gets to the following destination. And the leader and the sweeper both need to know the route inside and out. They don't necessarily have to commit it to memory, but they need to have went over the route and know where we're going and where we're going to wind up at the end of the day. It's nice if you have comms, like a headset like I have, and you can communicate with each other. We've done that with CBs in the past, but the lead rider and the tail gunner should be able to communicate. If nothing else, with hand signals, and I'm going to do another video on just hand signals, but you need to be able to communicate. And then plan for that group to grow, and if it grows, have someone in the group that is willing to step up and lead the secondary group so you can split up into separate groups. So you need some volunteers that also know the route, that can lead and be a tail gunner for a second group, or maybe even a third group if you get large enough. And have these things set up in advance so if you need to break up into smaller groups, you're ready and they're ready to do that. Okay, and then every day before you take off, have a group meeting and go over the route for the day, the stops for the day, and the final destination of the day. Make sure everybody is clear on that. And then I would have a short prayer, go over hand signals, what you guys are going to do for the day, who's leading, who the tail gunner is, and what they're going to be communicating. And then get on the road and just have fun. if you are a member of the group, be honest with yourself and honest with the leader of the group, whoever is the ride captain, if you want to call them that, and let them know what your riding experience is, especially your group riding experience, so they can help you get in the right place. More than likely, if you're a more experienced rider and you like to ride faster, you need to be toward the front of the group. And these are my opinions, what I've found. And you know, over time, you will find out where you fit best in a group. I know me personally, I'm much more enjoy the ride and feel more comfortable riding toward the front of the pack. I don't like to be at the back of the pack. So that's where I try to get. But develop over time where you feel comfortable riding in a pack of bikes. Always maintain that staggered formation. That's there for your protection and your safety, as well as the other riders. Secondarily, if you're a least experienced rider or a less experienced rider, you're probably better suited to be in the middle or toward the back of the pack. That way you can watch the pack, you can gauge your riding style, your position in the lane, how you speed up, how you lean the bike by the rider in front of you, and get more comfortable with that. But let the organizers of the ride know, hey, I'm not as experienced at this, I'm going to be in this location. Help me adapt and learn how to ride in this group atmosphere. And it is a learning atmosphere, and we want to include everybody, but we want to be safe. And a lot of times what causes accidents to happen in a group ride is somebody slowing up and causing gaps to form in the ride. Or maybe another vehicle, a car or a truck gets in there, and now you're separated, and that puts people in danger. Or you just slow down all of a sudden, and the person behind you is not being observant, and they run up on you and clip you and cause an accident. I've seen this happen. And by no fault of anybody, except we just didn't talk about it and didn't plan for it in advance. So if you're a less experienced rider, probably riding toward the middle or the back of the pack is a good place for you to be. And make sure the organizers of the ride know your riding ability and your riding experience, and we can plan accordingly for that. We want to have a great time. That tail gunner's responsibility is to get folks back to the next location or to the final destination intact with everybody. The lead rider and the tail gunners need to have a communication pattern. So whether it's comms or, hey, if something goes wrong, the tail gunner can pull over and send a text message to the lead rider. 911 means this is urgent, immediate, I need you to call me now. And that person can see that on their phone or on their infotainment system, pull over and call back and say, hey man, what's going on, and get the information they need to have. Or you could actually text them 411. I've got important information, but it's not urgent. When it's safe to do so and you can get the group off of the road, call me, I've got information for you. Have that planned in advance. Okay, I'm rambling because I didn't really write this down, I'm just talking off the cuff, but that's important. You know, when we lost Wood Jr., he had dropped back to help a rider that was less experienced, that wasn't comfortable. The problem was Wood didn't know the route, so that wound up them being in the woods in the mountains of Tennessee, not knowing where they were at, without cell service, without being able to communicate. And I'll tell you, when they were missing, I was a basket case. I was really concerned. Being a former paramedic, my mind went to the worst case scenario. And I thank Terry and Stacy Walker for helping in that circumstance and going out and looking for Wood. But also, Stacy in particular calmed me down and reassured me, hey, it's going to be all right, and at some point we're going to be able to laugh about this. Well, you know, we did laugh about it, but it's still no laughing matter, and I feel like I failed the group because I failed to plan. So from now on, I'm going to plan the ride, and I'm going to plan to succeed, and we're going to clearly communicate our plan with everybody, and we're going to have some contingencies in place. So not only will we have the maps available, but we're going to discuss it. And if possible, I know that Big Mike is doing this for our ride down to to Florida. We'll have route sheets so everybody can have that route printed out, or at least I'll have an ability where people can print it out themselves and bring it with them. So I'll also tell you that, you know, you should ride at your own pace. So if you're in a group that's riding faster than you want to ride, or that you feel comfortable riding, it's okay to ride your own ride. It's okay to say, hey guys, I want to peel off and I'll meet you at the next destination. But we need to know that's what you're doing, and you need to know where you're going. And I would suggest if you're going to do that, don't do it by yourself. Find someone else within the group that's willing to hang back with you and ride with you until you get to the destination. If you're not comfortable going at the pace we're going, we'll adjust the pace and slow down for you. We can't adjust the pace below the speed limit on the highway because that's dangerous for everybody. So we have to get up to speed on the highway, but we don't want to leave anybody behind, and we don't want to pressure anybody to ride beyond their ability. So the thing is, if you're riding in a large group and you realize early on that you are going to impact the group, it's okay to bow out of the group. It's okay to find somebody, make a new friend and say, hey, and I'll be the guy that if I'm not leading and I'm in a group with you and you're uncomfortable, say, hey, Tim, Poppa-D, can you hang back with me, man, and help me get to the next spot? Let's just go at a little slower pace. I'll gladly do that. I'll gladly step back and help you out. I can't do that if I'm leading the group, but there will be somebody in the group that's willing to stay with you if you're a less experienced rider and help you to get to our destination safely so you can enjoy the ride too. Because if you're worried about holding the group up, if you're worried about riding at a pace you're not comfortable with, you're not having fun and you're not enjoying the ride. And that's not how we want to experience this. We want you to have a good time. So that's okay. And like I said, we're going to talk about these things more. So I want to do some subsequent videos, and I'll actually write out a script instead of rambling like this about hand signals when you're group riding, because if nothing else, we should be able to communicate with the entire group with hand signals and keep us safe. The Motorcycle Safety Foundation has things online and resources online that show this, and you can read that for yourself. But when I do the video, I'm probably going to use that as my script, and I'll link to their website. But I want to use the hand signals that the Motorcycle Safety Foundation suggests to use for group riding, and we'll have a great time. But I just wanted to say, you know, if you're leading a ride, make sure you plan to succeed and don't fail to plan for all the contingencies. So think about things that might happen and what are you going to do when that happens. That was a failure of mine, and I want you to learn from my experience. Guys, I really appreciate you riding along with me today and following along. I hate I've been having issues with the camera. I was rambling, and I actually stated everything I stated probably better when the camera was off and not working appropriately. Either way, I've got it together now, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got something out of it, please leave me a comment and tell me which of those suggestions you like the best of what I just said for group riding and what you might have learned from this particular video. If you like this kind of content, consider subscribing to my channel. Come back and visit with me from time to time, and I'm going to have more great motorcycle content, more great trips to share with you guys, and I'll eventually maybe do some product reviews and things like that. I am trying to grow the channel now, and I'm up to 700 subscribers. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. It's crazy that I've gotten over 700 subscribers, and I really appreciate each and every one of you, and I don't say that enough. But thank you for subscribing to my channel. I hope you're still getting some benefit out of this. I hope to bring you guys content that is meaningful to you and to me. I would love to get over 1,000 subscribers. So if you like this kind of content and you know somebody that might enjoy it, share it with them. That would be cool. But I'm rambling, so I'm going to get off of here. Thank you as always for riding with me. I want you to be safe out there, and as always, God bless you, and I'll catch you on the next ride.